to our latest edition of the Congressional Western Caucus Chairman's Chat. I'm Chairman Dan Newhouse. This week, I am just delighted to be able to welcome a longtime friend of mine from the great state of Washington, Ms. Cathy McMorris Rodgers. We've served together in the State House and now here in Congress, and I'm honored to have you with us. And Cathy, you are Chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee, which is probably one of the most all-encompassing committees on Capitol Hill. A lot of jurisdiction over a lot of things. So welcome. Tell me a little bit about your committee, Energy and Commerce, and maybe some of the priorities you have as chairman. Welcome.
Great. Well, thank you. It's great to be with you, Dan, and really appreciate your leadership as chairman of the Western Caucus. And you've just done an extraordinary job leading on issues important to those of us in the West and rural communities in particular. And it's great to be with you today. Appreciate your friendship and your leadership. The Energy and Commerce Committee is it's a committee that's really at the forefront of a lot of commerce and energy. You think about we have broad jurisdiction over energy, telecommunications, technology, and healthcare. Some of healthcare we share with some other committees too, but it is those are the issues that are in front of our committee. It's really a committee that's at the forefront of America's leadership and a lot of competitiveness. And my goal is to make sure that America is continuing to lead. We're doing it with policies that promote free enterprise and entrepreneurship, and innovation. America has long been a country where we've celebrated innovation and creativity, and it's really been one of our competitive advantages. And so whether it's in energy policy or healthcare or technology, making sure that we protect the freedom of people to come up with new ideas and innovate and pursue that is so important. On the energy front in particular, our focus has been around unleashing American energy. I believe in an all of the above approach to energy. Energy is foundational to our lives. It powers our homes, our businesses, and making sure that we have reliable, affordable energy is so foundational. So we have worked on a number of issues. Certainly, right at the end of last year, we passed a nuclear package. But so there's nuclear, there's hydropower we've been working on. We've worked on pipelines and permitting and unleashing American oil and natural gas that is cleaner than any other place in the world, again, because of American ingenuity. And there's been a lot going on.
So just to underscore that, we are the very first bill we passed, H.R. 1, kind of underscores the priorities that we as Republicans have as it relates to our nation's energy and releasing the full potential of our energy potential. So tell me, since we passed H.R. 1, maybe a little bit about that, and what do you think its prospects are of becoming law?
Right. Well, H.R. 1. So it was you described it well. It was part of our commitment to America, and the Republican majority made it a priority to pass H.R. 1. It was unleashing American energy. So it included there was a lot of separate bills that were included in H.R. 1, but it was focusing on the export of LNG, liquefied natural gas, which is one of the best things that we could do, both for American industry, but also to help our allies around the world so that they're not so dependent upon adversaries like Russia. It's also one of the best things that we could do to reduce global carbon emissions is to export American natural gas. So that was included. There were permitting reforms that were included in H.R. 1 that we got some of those signed into law a little bit later. But there were nuclear provisions advancing American leadership in nuclear technology. And it really was a bill that reflected our priorities when it came to unleashing American energy. We passed it in the first quarter of the new majority last year, and it's been over in the Senate. It would be really good policy to get on the president's desk. We're still working on getting the Senate to take it up.
So you mentioned something that I think is just key, particularly for those of us that live in the Pacific Northwest. We are blessed with the ability to produce baseload, renewable, clean energy through our hydropower system. You mentioned some legislation that maybe would help enhance that. I know you've been engaged in this issue for a long time, trying to increase our nation's ability to produce energy with hydropower. There's a lot of potential out there around the country, but what are some of the things that legislation that you mentioned maybe accomplish to help enhance our ability to move this direction?
Yes, well, yeah. To your point, only 3% of the dams in America actually produce electricity, and we could double hydropower in the United States of America, which is clean, renewable, reliable, affordable. We enjoy the benefits in Washington State and the Pacific Northwest. Nearly every state has the potential for hydropower projects, and so the legislation that we have passed out of committee is streamlining the permitting process. Like so many things in America, it takes 10 years on average, way too long to relicense a dam or license a dam.
And it's very expensive.
And yes, very expensive. So this legislation addresses the licensing of hydropower projects. I really view permitting as probably the number one barrier to doing anything in America right now, whether it's an energy project or building anything in America. So we need to be addressing how long it takes on the licensing and the permitting. So I think nationwide, about 6% of our overall electricity is hydroelectric, but 40% of our renewable. It's a big percentage of our nation's renewable energy, and there's huge potential. So we've been working really hard on this legislation that would put some timelines into this process, some certainty, address some of the issues that have driven the cost as well as the time involved. And I was pleased that we were able to get bipartisan support for the bill coming out of committee, and we're still working on it. There's a companion bill in the Senate, but when you think about all of the dams that are up for renewal, relicensing, the ones that currently are hydroelectric, this streamlining the permitting process is really important.
I represent the Tri-Cities, Central Washington, where it's home to the Pacific Northwest's only nuclear generation station, the Columbia Generating Station. And so, I think, and you mentioned nuclear as being part of the above approach. Some of the legislation that you've been working on will help advance that industry. And I think this is something that my area is ready to embrace, and there's a bright future there. So maybe expound on some of the opportunities there.
Sure. Well, again, America has led in nuclear technology, both in the military and civilian.
That's right.
And when you think about next generation nuclear technology, it's important that America continue to lead. In Washington State, we have small nuclear reactors that are being developed. The new technology around recycling of the fuels, which is really it's exciting that it would help us not have to deal with the waste as much. But the legislation that we've worked on again addresses the permitting processes, the licensing, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission was established in 1975 to make sure that these projects are safe. And there's been one project licensed from start to finish since 1975.
In 50 years.
Yes.
Wow.
So we have to do better, and we have to make sure that yes, projects are safe, but also that we can continue to lead in energy and in nuclear energy, and especially these advanced nuclear reactors and small nuclear reactors that have so much potential. So we have worked at, we passed a package of bills around nuclear, unleashing American nuclear projects, and we passed it out of committee with all but 2 votes. Almost unanimous, overwhelming support. So a lot of work that's gone into this. It's an issue that is gaining momentum as people realize that we have to say yes to some nuclear energy in order to meet our energy needs. So I was really encouraged by that. We also have legislation that is passed out of committee, passed the House, that will ban the purchasing of uranium from Russia. So for nuclear, you need the uranium. There used to be the fuel, and there used to be a couple of uranium mines in my district, but by and large, they're gone. We no longer are mining or processing uranium, and instead we are purchasing it from Russia. So you have these advanced nuclear reactors, but the HALEU, the highly enriched uranium fuel, we're dependent upon Russia. Even today, we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars in an industry to purchase uranium from Russia. We passed legislation to ban the uranium from Russia. We're still working on getting it through the Senate, and send us a strong signal to industry that we want America to lead in the next generation of nuclear development. So it's exciting.
Very good. So I'm just learning about something. I'm hoping you can help me understand fully what's happening. The Biden administration is considering, I'm not sure they've taken this action yet, stopping our exportation of LNG, liquefied natural gas.
Yes.
Is that true? We were the leader in the world of exporting this gas. And now all of a sudden we're going to stop, which doesn't make sense to me. Could you shine some light on, is that what's happening?
Unfortunately, yes. We're hearing that the Biden administration would like to limit, if not shut down, the exporting of liquefied natural gas, which it just makes no sense when it for American energy leadership. Natural gas has been the driver of us leading in bringing down carbon emissions. It's important that we are helping our allies around the world. Otherwise, they're dependent upon Putin and Russia. This idea that Europe or Ukraine. I remember going to Ukraine long before the war, but when Putin had in 2014, when Putin had shut down the pipelines into Ukraine, the natural gas pipelines that kept their homes warm in the winter. He's used energy as a weapon, and we need to be making sure that our allies around the world aren't dependent upon Putin and Russia or other adversaries for energy. It really is important for our geopolitical standing and for our national security that we are
stability in the world.
Yes. So, and it's also one of the best things that we could do to reduce carbon emissions worldwide is to unleash natural gas and export more natural gas, not curtail. So I really think that the Biden administration wants to make this an election issue going into the fall. And unfortunately, it's very damaging to American energy leadership. It would be damaging to our allies around the world. It would threaten energy security, and it doesn't help meet the goals of bringing down carbon emissions.
Well, help us to stay abreast of what's happening on that issue so that we can certainly respond and try to stop any bad policy that might be forthcoming. Well, Cathy, as a fellow Washingtonian, it makes me fills me with confidence that someone like you is a strong champion of our energy independence, of regaining the strength that we have in our energy industries here in the United States. So thank you for everything that you do as chairing the committee and for all of the, I guess you could say, leadership in this area so that we regain our energy independence. It's something that we've given up during this administration, unfortunately, that we need to get back, again, for stability throughout the world. I think it's important for the United States to be in that position. So thank you for being with me today. Anything you'd like to share as we close out today's chairman's chat?
Well, I think you made a really good point right there that we spent 40 years trying to become energy independent, and we had finally achieved energy independence in 2020, and we've lost that now. And in addition to that, what we're seeing is energy prices are going up. We've seen gas almost double, so every time we go to fill up our cars, electricity rates are skyrocketing, and it really is hurting hardworking American families. But beyond that, energy, as cost of energy go up, when you're shutting down American energy, whether it is a variety of ways, you're raising the cost, and that is one of the biggest drivers of inflation right now too, because energy, everyone needs energy, and unfortunately it's hurting hardworking American families and businesses and our competitive edge. So this is really important, and appreciate your partnership as chairman of the Western Caucus.
Well, thank you, Cathy. Thanks for being with me today, talking about some very important things. And you're right, the driver of inflation, high cost of energy, certainly has an impact there. Energy, everything we do, everything we buy, everything we produce, literally the wheels are turned by the energy we produce. And so thank you for being such a leader in this space. So, Chairman of Energy and Commerce Committee, Cathy McMorris Rodgers, from Washington's 5th Congressional District, my neighbor in the state of Washington. Thank you for being with me today. And thank you for being with us. And we look forward to you joining us again very soon on another Congressional Western Caucus Chairman's Chat.